Hi everyone, Adrian Player here, investment mortgage broker. In this video, we're going to be talking about a simple topic. The things that I'm willing to do to put my family first and make sure that my family gets ahead. I'm going to talk to you like I'm a father, like I'm a husband, like I've got two kids. I've got two boys that are aged just over 2, and the second one's about 2 months old. I can honestly say that I would not be here right now with two kids in the climate that has destroyed the middle class and young people in the last 5 to 6 years since 2020, unless I did things the way that I've done. And I'm going to speak very openly with you. A lot of people are hiding businesses and huge incomes, and then they're trying to tell you that their portfolio is the thing that's actually made them the money, when in reality their business or the silver spoon that they're being given is huge, and they don't tell you this. And then that's the really driving mechanism in the back that allows them to get to the high levels that they've got with their 50, 100, 150 properties, or the huge size of some of these buyers agents that are saying, do what we do in the order that we do it in and follow me and you can get the same results. Well, look, I'm here to tell you that my income and my business income has never been crazy. Sure, it's probably in the top quartile of all households, but for at least the last 6 to 7 years, my income scaled through that time. But did it really go into the realms of 400, 500, 600 grand? The answer is a flat out no. I think as a household, the majority of the time, my tax returns, and just bear in mind that I'm running a business, so you have splits of commissions, and then you've got clawbacks, and then you've got expenses, and then you've got everything that you write off in your business, like cars and things like that. So look, my income's been anywhere around the 200 to 300 grand mark as a household, the majority of my time, and that's great, amazing income compared to what I was on in CommSec and CBA, where my max income for close to 9 years, 10 years was not much more than about 85 grand, right? Including overtime and bonuses and base income, right? So I think when you look at my scenario, it's a lot more relatable to show what has been achievable in a 5 to 6 year period. Okay, so when we talk about this, let's just go back to father mode, husband mode, and I've got two sons, right? I wouldn't be sitting here with two kids right now unless I made the choices that I did in the order that I did them in. So we intentionally rent vested in South Sydney on very low rent on a 2-bedder for close to, I think, 5 years while we drove outdated cars. I didn't upgrade my car until about 3 years ago. I was driving a 2007 Toyota Camry, 2005 Suzuki Swift. The whole time. I owned that Swift since new. It was close to, I think, 12 to 13 years old at the time that I sold it. It had super low Ks because I hardly ever drive. And then you look at society and what your parents and your friends and society teaches you. They teach you to get out of school, go to uni, rack up huge amounts of debt. And now the kids are coming out and there's no jobs because AI is taking all the jobs, right? And the HECS debt is through the roof. And even if they can find a job, you're dealing with a job market right now that's worse than 2007, 2008. I was reading a Harvard study that shows the exit report, and it was like 26% of people were not even getting a job at all. And the ones that were getting a job, the pay was like 20 to 40% down from the prior years. All right, so all those key jobs are not there in the young people space. And that's been smacking America for the last 12 to 18 months. And it's only been really hitting our IT industry in Australia for the last kind of 6 months. So we haven't even started seeing the job losses yet that we will see at the end of this year. So then I look at the things that I was willing to do and go against to get to where we are. So we moved away from family in South Sydney. We bought 9 investment properties. I moved out of a $2 to $3 million suburb in Sutherland Shire, South Sydney. I moved into the roughest suburb in all of Brisbane, Woodridge. And then we had to get a security screen, fences, a dog that could bark. I had multiple baseball bats as well as cricket bats, all around the house if someone got in or was in the backyard. We couldn't even walk out our front gate because there were groups of people jumping in cars, 4 at a time, going around rolling people for their shoes and watches and wallets from Logan Central, and drug dealers were on the train line around Woodridge. But we did that to get ahead. Bought that property for $380, sold it for $800 inside of a 4-year period. And then what did we do? Well, our lifestyle didn't go through the roof. That's the main thing. We stayed nice and humble. We didn't get flashy. The only time I bought something flashy was a Mercedes. It cost me about $60,000, but I bought it through the business because it's for business use, and instant asset write-off, GST rebate back. I got about 35 to 38 grand worth of tax rebates and GST, and if I didn't get that, I wouldn't have bought it, right? And I got a super good deal on the car, and a lot of people thought I spent 120 grand on this, but it was a D-badge CLA 2019 that had very low Ks. So it cost me 60 grand. So that was the flashiest thing that I've done. I walk around in shorts and thongs 24/7, always wearing a black t-shirt. I've been doing that for close to 7 years. And then I'm not flashy with what I buy and what I do. And I think a good trip to get out of the house is to get in the car, go up the street to the petrol station to get some form of drink or chocolate. That's what I see as living life and having a good life. So if you're able to increase your income, then invest a lot and not have your lifestyle go through the roof. And then the trap, after we sold the 9 resi investment properties and we made 7 figures, what were we going to do? Well, my parents wanted me to buy a 1.2 to 1.5 mil property around the Redland Bay area in Brisbane. I had the cash to do that without any mortgage. But once you account for closing costs and once you account for holding costs, and then the fact that those properties were 7, 8, 900 grand in 2020, and now they're sitting at 1.3 to 1.6 mil. I didn't want to be the schmuck at the end. That was the one holding the bag at the end, paying the premium. So then, God love Maria, we sat down and look, we didn't make our parents happy. They wanted us to be close. They wanted the kids to be close. But we went back to rent vesting. And then, because we knew that we were doing that, we used Brisbane to use IVF to have our second child. And if we didn't do that, I would have been very close to saying no to having 2, because I would have used up a decent amount of my cash and investable income to go and buy the one owner rock, and then to make sure that the family was happy. So God love Maria. She said, if you get me out of a main city, in the regions, on the beaches where the kids are safe outside, they can be in nature, you don't have to worry about me being outside, I'm willing to sell the owner rock that we were living in. We didn't pay CGT, and then we rolled that into a very large commercial, which is now cash flowing somewhere around 140 to 180 grand net a year. That's coming out of the commercial that we bought. And then we've gone back to rent vesting. And right now I'm sitting on a deck and I can hear the waves in the background, probably 200 meters in front of me. I'm on a beachside road. On the beach side of the road, 200 meters away, there's a bit of bush and a river, and then I can hear the waves. And I'm only spending $700 a week in rent. And I've invested all my money back in for more investments to compound. And I've been able to have my second child that way. So have a really hard think about the choices that you're making, the sacrifices to make other people happy in a society where you need to be putting your family first and making decisions in not the order that society and your family wants you to, so you can get ahead. Because the meta has changed, the way young people can get ahead has changed, and you need to do things in different orders to get outsized results. All right, what do you think? All right, I'll see you on the next video. Take care. Bye.